Welcome back to another episode of Chicago Brewed Sports. We got Joe Klatt sitting to my left. We have a returning special guest in Brandon. We have a new special guest in AJ. And we have Jimmy all the way in the corner. We're a podcast
for the fans, by the fans.
What's going on, everyone? Just finished watching the Bears game on this Sunday afternoon. It was definitely a thrilling and exciting game to watch. And I'm glad we came out with a victory on this
Bear
one.
down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
For sure.
Great game. Great game.
Sorry we haven't been really making videos in the last few weeks. I just recently have gotten married this last weekend, so I kind of had a lot going on there.
Congrats, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Married man.
So
we also have another new married man over there.
My first time on the pod since I've been married.
So yeah,
we're all back from Italy now.
Yeah.
Brandon just got back from vacation. I figured you guys would appreciate that Brandon's back here with us again.
It's good to be back, gentlemen.
Yeah.
This is like fucking,
making a
good memories.
Nostalgic.
Making
Very
his
nostalgic.
It's been a while.
long cameo appearance.
A long time.
So it's good to see that.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right into it.
Yes. We got to do the Malort.
Oh, you always stop and catch me before
We're doing the
we
Malort.
continue to go on. So Jimmy, he picked, I believe it was the Bears to win against the Texans, and they did not win. So he automatically default goes to him for taking the shot of Malort. The score does not matter. So it is Jimmy that is taking it.
Jimmy's taking the shot. Jimmy's the big loser, and I'm going to join Jimmy just for old time's sake. It's actually been a while since I've had Malort in general.
What a man.
I don't just drink Malort regularly.
That's a respectable
So,
decision.
It is.
I respect
This
you
is
more.
for the fans, by the fans right here. It's a big
Hell
fucking
yeah.
shot, buddy.
Hey, so Malort comes out with like a turkey.
Jimmy, I'll match you, though.
A turkey flavored one during Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
dude.
but you
What
have to
the
buy it at
fuck, man.
One sip.
You have to buy it at the distillery.
Here we go.
Ugh.
All right, bro.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
More life.
Glad to have you back, boys.
Nasty.
Gets the blood going.
Wow,
a little bit.
that's
No
disgusting.
chaser. No chaser.
But,
Death by Malort.
Death by Malort.
So, real quick, right before we start, we've been jumping around from location to location. Obviously, every podcast feels like we're in a new room every time. But moving forward, and I promise, this is going to be like the setup area.
Yeah.
So next podcast, we're going to have like a nice drop back or whatever. We're going to make it look pretty so you guys don't see the back of us. But
Yeah,
I just wanted to say congrats to Andrew and Jimmy. You guys have done a great job with the place. The first time I walked in here, it's so full.
Yeah.
Everything on the walls, it's really homey. So
yeah,
kudos to you guys.
Yeah, we're actually like in a bar setting, which is kind of what we've always wanted because it's, reviewing beers at the end. We're in a bar, it makes sense. So the atmosphere looks good this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
So we just have to do a few touch-up changes, but from here on out, this is where the podcast will die. So
I agree.
going into the game now, the Bears won 24-18 against the Los Angeles Rams. What are your guys' thoughts on the game? How do you think the Bears played? Do you think Caleb Williams is looking better? Do you think the coaching got better? The offensive line got better? What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I think the game started off shaky as the offense has been throughout the entire season so far, but they really picked it up in the back half of the game. So kudos to Williams and DeAndre Swift for having his welcome to Chicago type game, in my opinion.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, Andrew. I think we made strides this week, the strides that we needed to make. I think DeAndre Swift had to get it going, and oh boy, he did. I think Caleb Williams, we said it. He was a little spotty on some of his long throws, but it's all part of the development for me, I think. He made some good throws down the field, too, so definitely some good signs.
It was the first game where you actually had like a run game. Past 3 weeks, whatever. You seen none of that from DeAndre Swift. He had 40 attempts, 60 yards of rushing.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's like averaging a yard and a half per carry.
But this is what DeAndre Swift was known for, and I think this is kind of why the Bears wanted him. He was known for being a good catching running back, and he did exactly that on top of running very well. I think he was getting kind of critiqued like negatively, and it wasn't his fault. I think the offensive line was really struggling, and it was making DeAndre Swift look bad. I don't think it was all his fault at all. I think he just proved himself that he is capable of being a very good running back in this league.
Yeah.
Overall, I think we just played like a winning team. We established the run game, and I know I sound like a broken record to you guys. Maybe not on camera, but Caleb Williams threw the ball 24 times today. That's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
Rodgers in his prime was throwing for 300 yards and passing 22 times, and they're blowing teams out.
Yeah.
That's a winning formula, and that's what we saw this week. So
I think that goes into my assessment of the game. The coaching staff really helped the rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
When you have a rookie quarterback and you have an offensive line that isn't the best, you need to establish the running game.
For sure.
And you need to have check down options for the quarterback. So it was a lot of dink and dunk today, not a lot of yardage, only 157 yards out of those 24 attempts. But that touchdown is what sealed the deal. And that's what we need to do with this rookie quarterback, is give him check down and give him a running game so that he can have a chance to be successful.
I like that they're not restricting Caleb Williams either. They're letting him look at the whole field. They're not cutting the field in half. They're letting him look at the whole picture and letting basically him control the game, which is good. That's what you want. You don't want the offensive coordinator or the coach to take too much control. I think they kind of did that with Justin Fields, and it definitely showed with Getz. But I think that's good. I think Shane Waldron should give him an opportunity. Same with Matt Eberflus. And, this is what the developing process, it helps him develop. And I think he's going to be hopefully our franchise guy going forward.
So I know Keenan Allen
definitely will be.
Keenan Allen only, he 3 for 3 today with 19 yards receiving. But I wonder how much of an impact that played in terms of opening up the run game. When you have another weapon out there that you can pass to, you got to allocate your defense differently. So I think Keenan Allen being back was an X factor as well.
First game back, I think, too, this season. So, I mean, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe knock some of the rust off.
And Keenan Allen just has an energy to him.
Yeah.
Like, I think he keeps the sideline more loose, too.
It's his damn presence. Like
Exactly.
just like what you said, when he's out on the field, that's taking away another, in defense or whatever.
Yeah, right.
You have to pay attention to him. He's a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. He's probably going to be in the Hall of
6-time
Fame.
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, so if
It's a big body.
If Keenan Allen is on one side of the field, that side of the field needs 2 defenders looking at him.
Right.
Now opens up the slot. That opens up the check downs with Swift, as we've seen all day, and that's what Caleb needs.
Absolutely, I agree.
Fuck yeah.
I think they were trying
down, baby.
to make Caleb Williams bust-proof.
But we got to give credit to the defense, too. I mean, they just show out every
They
single
do.
week.
And Brisker's a dog.
Every
man.
single week.
And Brisker had a great game.
Yeah, he should have had that one that was an interception, but
Yeah.
he stepped out of bounds prior to the catch, unfortunately, or the interception. But yeah, he definitely had a good game. Montez Sweat had a strip sack fumble. I forgot who recovered it, but yeah, it looked good. The defense is always stepping up to the plate, and the Bears' identity has always been the defense. So hopefully our offense gets it going. Hopefully this was the game, the spark, the motivation they needed going forward.
I mean, it's finally good seeing them. At least it was entertaining to watch. Now, it was a team that can actually drive down the field and
it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And we didn't turn the ball over at all, like you just said, Joe, and that's great. And that's a winning formula.
That's all you could ask for.
However, we had too many penalties today.
Yeah.
And
Preset penalties. I know what
5,
you're
10,
saying.
5 preset.
That's too many.
That was a big one.
That's
And
way
that
too many.
continues to be an issue with this
I think
team.
we had 10 penalties for 90 yards, something around there.
Well, the one where it was 3rd and 2, and then Cole Kmet goes offside.
Twice.
Whatever. Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That could have gave the game.
Penalties are going to happen. It's these
Third and
presets.
It's the preset penalties. The 5 preset penalties.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7 is a huge.
Well, it was a situation too where you're going to ice the game. You're at the 50-yard line, and you're just keep running the clock down after that. And
Well, that's who iced the game for the defense.
Yeah.
Was the
Yeah.
one, so luckily. But
Yeah, I think this Bears defense is really impressive, and my hypothesis is that the defense alone is going to win them 5 games.
right.
So I'm going to count this as a W for Caleb Williams, as one game that he's won, and I believe if he can win them 4 games, they're going to go 9-9.
Absolutely. What are your guys' thoughts on the offensive line? Tevin Jenkins being out now, being replaced with Matt Pryor. I thought Matt Pryor actually did better than
Yeah,
Tevin Jenkins.
quite frankly, I thought the O-line did somewhat decent today.
Right. Absolutely.
Obviously, Tevin Jenkins being hurt is not good for the team because, a team like this needs depth when the O-line isn't as good as it should be. But, I'm sure he's fine.
They just need to build on it, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Week to week, they just need to build on it. And now we have the momentum on our side, so at least there's that.
Yep.
2-2 now. You know, it's nice seeing. You know, I think that if we were 1-3, I think that this season would have felt like it was over. Probably would have been over most likely. So us being 2-2, I feel like we're still in it. The Vikings winning the game.
The Vikings,
4-0.
man, 4-0.
No one thought.
No one thought that. You know,
I knew that they weren't going to be a pushover team. I thought they'd probably still be last in the division, but I did not think they were going to be first.
quite frankly, I thought the Vikings were going 6 in 6 wins on the year.
All the shit you talked in the Facebook group chat.
Yeah, all the shit like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. They beat up on the 49ers, not playing shit teams.
But that wasn't just me, though. It was like a lot of people were saying that as well.
Yeah.
So they're
legit, man. They're looking good. But how many times have you seen it though, where a team starts off the year like this, then they fall apart? I mean, they almost let the Packers come back. They were up 4 touchdowns, and they almost had the Packers come back. So I don't know.
I wonder if the Packers have any regrets letting go of Aaron Jones. Especially after today.
I don't think so.
Josh Jacobs, though.
Josh Jacobs is pretty good. And
I'm taking Jones over Jacobs.
I think
I'll be honest, yes.
What about Malik Willis, the backup to the Packers?
Jacobs is a stud, but I'm taking Jones.
I really like Malik Willis.
Yeah, I thought he did really good, man. I almost think he's better than Jordan Love.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of
I know it's a lot to say, but...
I mean, it was nice seeing Love throw 3 picks today.
Yeah, it was. Really? 3 of them?
Yeah, 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think as Bears fans, after the debacle of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, it's really nice to see the Packers quarterback struggle. And, we're not going to ever root for Jordan Love.
No,
never.
But the kid is not a bad quarterback.
Not at all.
He does have potential.
By no means.
He does have that Jalen Hurts, aspect to him. And I think that they could be the same tier of quarterback one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the thing about the Bears. Like we have to stop hoping for other teams to be mediocre and instead just hope for right. Exactly. Right? Like that's what's kind of fucked up. We hope. Our incompetence makes us hope for other teams to be incompetent. Why can't we just be good and play with these good teams and beat them out? Jordan Love can be good. He can be a beast. But why can't we be better? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with that at all, Brandon.
That's what we got to look for. And I think we have our guy, dude. I think Williams is going to, 4 games in, every week I feel like he's making strides. And I think,
Justin
it's exciting.
Lost
it's very exciting.
Colts.
Yeah, Justin Fields also he lost the game today. Personally, I'm a big Justin Fields fan, and I didn't want to let him go. The 3-0 start was big for Pittsburgh. Today, he lost the game for them on a fumble.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's unfortunate, but that's just, the pitfalls of having a quarterback that runs the ball.
Yep, absolutely. And I know that they made Russell Wilson. I think he's healthy.
That's been a thing with Justin Fields, though. He's always been a fumbler.
Yeah.
Even with the Bears, he led the league for years in fumbles. So nothing's changed, I guess, in that department. So. Yeah. And you can't be doing that.
I mean, it looks like the Bears
can't be doing that.
He has to play 60% of the time for them to get the 4th round or something.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. It was a
what is it, 40% of the games?
Well, I thought it was.
No, it's like 60% of the games.
Okay.
So that's why it's very important that Pittsburgh keeps winning.
Well, it's a 4th
round. What's gonna happen is if Fields ends up, keeping the train on the tracks and the Steelers are in the right direction, they're gonna milk Russell Wilson's injury. I think even if he's not injured, hey, this guy's got a bum leg. It's like that's what NFL teams do. So I think for our sake, we hope that happens.
Well, I think if they're winning with Justin Fields and he has a chance to bring him to the playoffs, win the playoffs, I mean, why? Who cares about a 4th round pick at that point?
Oh yeah,
so,
and Fields has.
But there is a bet going on between Andrew and I. If Justin Fields wins a playoff game,
and all of a sudden it seems as if I may be the one on the in the driving seat. Huh?
And let's be honest, Russell Wilson's not all that, dude.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I know.
We're not talking about a stud anymore.
The guy's also a scumbag in real life too.
He is a fucking scumbag.
He wanted to give his phone number out to his teammates. He said, "Yeah,
really?
Let's talk to my agent."
And now, if that story is true, that's
it was coming from one of my buddies in the Marines. He was a college football player, and all his buddies know a lot of guys in the NFL. And they said he's like a piece of shit in real life.
Oh, wow. Never would have guessed. He seems like a nice guy. I have no idea. I never met him though. So,
Yeah, that would be
What a douchebag,
contradicting.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
fucking- I didn't know that.
To me, that's very conflicting because the whole
Yeah.
dynamic of Russell Wilson being with Sierra, in
Sierra.
Future being the bad guy.
Yeah.
If Russell Wilson is actually a bad guy, is Future the good guy? who got his wife and child stolen from him
You make a good point
by
there,
this
Adrian.
toxic quarterback, Russell
Yeah.
Wilson?
Oh,
Piece of
shit.
shit.
Wow.
Wait, so Future and Sierra were married once?
And they have a child. And Russell
I
Wilson
never
is
knew that.
married
Wow.
and raising that child and playing football with him.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
I
That's
can see
interesting.
why that could be,
Conflicting.
yeah.
But the narrative is that Future is the toxic one, and that Russell Wilson has saved his family.
Hey, there's always two sides to every story. Just always
true.
remember that. So,
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, who are your sources? Your Marine buddies?
Yeah, so it was actually my lieutenant. He was like 6'7". He played college ball at
you have to
Villanova.
make sure you tell his height.
Like he's a big guy, man. He's a
That's
legit,
a guy,
man.
huh? That's a
Giant guy.
That's like Keenan Allen right
So,
there.
yeah, a lot of his buddies. He was friends with Christian Benford. He plays for the Bills, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But he knows all these guys in the NFL, and it's coming from like it's a good source, man. It's coming from legitimate source.
I believe you.
Yeah, fair enough. So, and you have heard it from Jimmy that
Yeah,
Russell
well,
Wilson is a grade A scumbag.
He's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Just take his word for it.
And take his word for it.
Piece
yeah.
of shit.
We are
He
Team
heard from-
Future. Team Future.
It was a 6'7" man that told him.
We
so.
are Team Future here, just like AJ said.
It's good to see a Bears off-season signing come through for us today. I mean, if you look at the numbers, like none of our receivers did much. You know, it really was DeAndre Swift's game.
I agree.
It was.
And we're paying him a lot of money. This is
30
what
million,
this is
I
what
believe.
needs to
I
happen.
mean, that's how the numbers should look. Like,
Because
we're not throwing the ball 52 times. Like
we were
last
all
week.
thrown off by it, right? I mean, at the beginning of the game, we were all fucking laughing. Like, what was it? Swift was 40 rushing attempts for 80 yards in 3 games. Like,
Yeah.
that's abysmal. Come on, man.
That's terrible.
But he is a receiving
This
back.
was so important to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
I think
know?
it was a breakout game, man, for the whole
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah, it was, what they needed to
So,
going
Joe, I
forward.
have a question.
Yeah.
How much influence do you think Waldron and Eberflus had on the offensive success today?
Well, that's a good question that you brought up, Brandon, because I heard that Shane Waldron was actually asking from his players, hey, what can we do better? What are you guys seeing wrong with this offense? Shane Waldron, and this is according to Adam Schefter, a reliable source, Jimmy, went on to wrote onto a whiteboard all his weaknesses, how to improve on his weaknesses. This is coming from Adam Schefter. And I know it sounds like a weak coach to go and ask your players what is wrong, but it's the coaches that end up getting fired that don't go to the players to ask them how we can improve. And look, he did that, and they won the game. So I mean, obviously something worked, or they improved on something.
Yep.
So that's my thoughts on that. Matt Eberflus, he just calls the defense. So I mean, he's a great defensive coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach, but I think he's a very good defensive.
That's for
coordinator.
sure. He's definitely not a good head
You think the Bears are keeping him next year or no?
I think that Ryan Poles made a mistake keeping Matt Eberflus, that he should have picked an offensive guru to groom he should have picked Shane Waldron to be the head coach. Hell, man, that's what you want in with the rookie quarterback. You want an offensive-minded guy. You don't want a defensive-minded guy. Yes, it's worked for a few teams, but not usually. So, I mean, I guess the Texans are maybe an exception. Or Mike Tomlin. But, I mean, these are great head coaches that have been coaching forever in the league and have a track record of success. Matt Eberflus does not have a track record of success. He's won way less games than he's won games. So, that's my
I
thoughts.
say
on
hire
that.
Bill in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, he's a defensive-minded guy, too,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, Bill Belichick. But he's had success, but he's also had one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history.
But
So.
Bill probably doesn't want to coach the Bears. He's too worried about his
Yeah.
19-year-old girlfriend.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh said he had interest in from the sources of Chat Sports.
Oh, wow.
That he had interest in coaching the Chicago Bears, that he wanted to do it. And I think that Ryan Poles should have pursued him and went after Jim Harbaugh. I think that it was a mistake.
Yeah,
that he
I mean,
didn't
the
do
Chargers are doing good with them.
But I guess
They're up
Kevin
right now like
Warren,
14
Yeah.
Kevin Warren doesn't get along with Jim Harbaugh. They don't like each other, and the McCaskies really didn't get along with Jim Harbaugh either. But you know what? You got to set your differences aside in a situation
Why, though?
like
Yeah,
this.
I mean, you're trying to win.
Well,
the
he
damn
used to be
football
the quarterback for the Bears, and supposedly he
game.
tried
Yeah, in
to
the
take-
90s.
No, I know,
You
but
know?
he tried to like
Hold on to that 30-year fucking grudge.
he wanted a lot of input and wanted them to do a lot of stuff, and they didn't like that he wanted to take charge. But that's just the kind of mindset. He wins wherever he goes.
He does.
Jim Harbaugh. So you know what? Yeah, you might not like his attitude and his mentality, but hey, man, he has a winning attitude and a winning mentality, and the track record shows. So I mean, I think that they should have went after him, but
I think it's just going to be dependent on their success this
Yeah,
season.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, obviously, right?
No
Like,
doubt.
if they're good this year, Eberflus stays. If they're
sure.
bad, I do think I think they can.
Yeah, no, I mean,
What-
yeah.
How bad is bad? That's what I want to know. Because
That's a fair question.
Like
with the
mediocre?
rookie quarterback, that's what I'm saying. With the rookie quarterback,
That's fair.
new system, you know, an O-line that is struggling. How bad is bad?
well, that's what. They
Well,
have to
I
say.
agree with you. I think
No
if
question.
they have more losses than wins, but it's just by a game, they keep Eberflus. I think.
No, you know what they got to do.
I think if they end up losing out the rest of the season, Eberflus is gone.
No,
But that's
Dan.
not.
I
you
mean,
know,
I think that's
that's for
obvious.
sure.
Brandon, what they have to do is be like, thank you, Matt Eberflus. We have improved as a team from our last head coach. We like what you've done here, but we think we're going to move on with an offensive guy to focus on the quarterback. That's what you say. I mean, unfortunately, I mean,
Look,
Yeah, but Joe-
that happens in sports all the time.
Yeah,
But
it's
Joe,
business.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I understand the head coach having, being defensive minded. That's fair, but that's why you hire an offensive coordinator. Like, he's supposed to wash his hands of certain shit
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, Shane Waldron, get the job done." That's why you're fucking hired.
Exactly.
all right, then a lot of it falls back on.
So then-
it's easier to fire the offensive coordinator than it is to fire the head coach for sure. But
Hey,
I think that
why don't we bring back Mark Tresman?
come on,
Come on,
from
that was out
Canada.
of pocket.
I think
was
he's in.
offensive minded, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think
I'm
he's
totally
actually
kidding, by the way.
he does
I'm
something.
kidding.
He's like a quarterback coach for a team or something right now, an NFL team. I'm pretty
He
sure.
also was offensive minded for a different league entirely. You know,
Yeah.
that makes a difference. It's like you get a batting coach from New Japan.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like it was so long
bring him
ago.
to MLB. It's different.
Have they done
different
that
game.
before, Andrew? Not since you brought that up. Topic on. Have they brought like coaches from Japan into America to coach in baseball, like MLB games?
I mean, I'm sure.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure they have.
Have they?
You have Cuban coaches nowadays, from the DR coaches.
What about
you know, right?
Japan?
Yeah, like the Red Sox coach.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Alex Cora?
Yeah, where did Cora come
I
from?
don't know.
Do you think Ohtani could be a good coach?
I think
I'm
he needs
sure.
to learn English.
Does he know how to speak?
You know what?
I-
Ohtani's special
yeah.
on the field. Let's keep him on the field.
I just- I just feel like
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure he can be, but if he only speaks Japanese, that's going to be kind of
That's
hard.
like baseball
manage
coaches
a team,
don't do as much
you
as
know?
like in football, man. Like,
Yeah.
What do? You make the roster, like
Pitching
the
change.
lineup for the day. I don't know.
Yeah, football is all play calling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was so impressive about the second half of today's game. You know, the check downs is what Caleb Williams needs.
Dude, I don't think it's what the head coaches do during the game. I think it's what they do during the week.
Yeah.
Like preparing their players.
Yeah.
And then I think like that's why there's an offensive defensive coordinator. Like during the game, it's their responsibility to, take care of their respective divisions.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
the head coaches, like I said earlier, I said it when we were watching the game, like I genuinely feel like head coaches are glorified cheerleaders. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because
I don't know, Brandon.
you gotta keep your team's morale up. I think
But
that
it's
makes a
play
difference,
calling.
bro.
It's play,
Yeah,
if you
dude, I
if you
think-
have a quarterback who knows the system,
Yeah.
who can make changes at the line and
Yeah.
get his receivers what he wants, then okay. Then the coach doesn't really have to do anything.
Right.
But when you have a rookie quarterback,
Yeah,
it's all play calling.
right.
You're right. But my question is, and this is just something I don't know, so I'm actually asking, how much responsibility does the OC have compared to the head coach? I wish behind the scenes we really knew.
Well, it depends on
You
what,
know what I'm saying?
what the head coach is.
Because is it
What background
really
is-
Eberflus calling these fucking plays, or is it Waldron calling these plays? If you're
Seriously, Andrew or Brandon?
I'm being
What do you
serious.
mean? Well, the offensive play. You think Matt Eberflus is calling offensive plays?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Then why do we
You
put
just
all the
answered your
offensive
question.
blame on Eberflus? That's my question.
We're not.
That's my
Who's-
question.
Who's putting it all on Eberflus? What we're putting on
We have been for years.
No, what we're putting on Eberflus is not using his timeouts properly.
Well, for sure, I agree.
But when he goes for a touchdown, not having to think about doing a 2-point conversion, with mathematically, that's the only thing that makes sense to do. Stuff like that, using timeouts correctly. Yeah, he could call a great defense, and I think he does a great job at the defense part. But it's kind of his job too to make sure the offense is working and making sure that Shane Waldron is doing his job.
Well, that's the thing.
During the week.
Yes,
Exactly.
they work during the week, and they come up with the playbook, and they come up with, what plays they're going to use in certain situations. I would like to know personally behind the scenes if Eberflus is in those meetings and he is hands-on with the
Oh yeah,
play
that's
call.
another thing. Using challenging plays, like stupid stuff like that he's been faulting on doing. So, but I get what you're saying, but
Joe, you're right. Like Eberflus, I would say, if we're separating it into segments, like Eberflus is absolutely to blame for some of these stupid head coach coaching
going
calls.
for it
the
on
timeouts,
certain fourth downs.
the challenges against the Texans were fucking abysmal. That we could have used in a different play. Those are terrible. That's on the head coach.
Yep.
I just wonder how much blame offensively goes into this. That's my thing.
well, I don't think Shane Waldron is off the hook by any means.
No, I'm not saying he is. I agree.
But yeah, Ryan Poles. I think that he made a mistake by keeping Eberflus this year, and I think that we should have picked an offensive-minded person going into this year for Caleb Williams. So,
And then also, if we peel back the onion even further, what if Shane Waldron is doing his job? What if it's Chris Morgan? Obviously our O-line is the one that struggles. What if it's a Chris Morgan issue?
He's the only person we kept from fire. We fired the whole offensive staff last year except for Chris Morgan.
For anyone that doesn't know, Chris Morgan is the offensive line coach.
And the run game coordinator.
Yeah.
Seems like he should be fired for sure.
This game, it looked good, though. So, I guess they definitely, the offensive line looked better. Isn't that weird, though? As soon as Tevin Jenkins went out, Matt Pryor came in, it looked better. I don't know. That's depressing, knowing that.
Now, I have a question for all of you. Would you have preferred if the Bears decided to not? Because think about it, our running back committee is pretty good, even if we didn't have Swift. We all like Khalil Herbert. We all like Roshan Johnson. So what if the Bears did not sign Swift and instead went out and spent big money on a lineman? Would you have said, yes, let me get that lineman, and then we don't have Swift, or do you think Swift belongs here?
Well, you saw Swift his first 3 games in Chicago, how they were piss poor,
Sure.
and that was due to the O-line. So I think, they
If you
probably
could
should have. Yeah, I would have rather had a lineman. I'll be honest.
But if you could find one, no teams let go of offensive linemen.
Good old linemen are so
they
great.
they're hard to
never
find.
let go of them.
So
you would
our
never
main
find
priority is, no offense to Swift, not Swift, it's Caleb Williams. It's protecting Williams so he has enough time in the pocket to throw.
I think coaching, it clearly shows at the start of the season that coaching and offensive line 100% matter.
Yeah, because quite frankly, if you have a good line, your running backs are going to automatically do better because you have a line.
Look at the Packers, for example, with Malik Willis.
Like San Fran as well.
Example.
Obviously they have CMC, but
he's been out for the whole.
They always have a good line. They always have a good system, and it makes everyone better.
Coaching definitely matters. So, like I said, we talked about this earlier. Hey, would you give up DJ Moore and Matt Eberflus for Sean McVay, the coach for the Rams? I said, dude, I would do it in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Sean McVay has 20 years left of coaching in him, maybe even more. Who knows? I would do it in a heartbeat because I would guarantee you the Chicago Bears. Yes, it would suck losing a great wide receiver like DJ Moore, but we got Odunze, we got Keenan Allen, we got Cole Kmet, we got DeAndre Swift now. He's stepping up catching plays. It matters. And I think that if we had Sean McVay, an offensive-minded guru like him, we would see drastic improvement.
But then what would be the point in Shane Waldron at that point? I don't know.
Well,
I get
Shane
it.
Waldron's trying to get it as a head coach somewhere, so he's not going to stick around for. If he does really good, and the Bears improve, really well, do you think he's going to stick around? And if some other team offers him a head coaching position, No way.
Oh, of course not.
But Sean McVay is the head coach, so he's going to stay forever. That's the whole point of it. So I don't know. I just think coaching matters that much, and I think that I'd rather have a really good coach than, DJ Moore. He's bottom top 10, maybe not even, maybe top 15. He's very good. But
Speaking of, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jim.
I was just gonna say they're good wide receivers everywhere.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, man.
Good coaches are very rare. Good O-line are very rare.
Like how many good? There's probably a top 10 good. There's coaches and wide receivers you could find.
Anyway, that 17-year-old kid at Alabama right now would be a great NFL wide receiver right now.
Yes.
Wide receivers come out every year.
Oh yeah, second, third round. Absolutely. So, but Malik Nabers, Jimmy.
He's racking me up 27 points a week, fantasy.
I told him to pick. That's who you should pick. Looking better than any.
I should be 3-0 right now. It pisses me off. I know how to work the app, so. Well, I had Higgins playing, and I forgot to take him out.
4-0.
Yeah, I'll be 3-1 after today.
Yeah. What did you say? What did Andrew
He's good.
say?
He was hurt the first couple of games.
Jimmy, what did Andrew say about your team and everything?
It's dude, I never joined that fucking league, bro.
I still think it's complete bullshit, though.
Well, I get the first overall pick.
What you have to rely on an unproven rookie player for you to be good.
I have a pretty young team.
It's a gamble. That's part
It's
of
hard to.
fantasy football.
You know what, Andrew? To be fair, you're right. Unproven is correct, but Nabers and Marvin Harrison Jr. Those guys got drafted so high for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
did
and like AJ said,
so did Kevin White.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to that guy, huh?
He
What the hell happened
was
to Kevin White?
one of the biggest busts in the Bears history.
right.
So next to
And I just wanted to say something too, since we're on the topic of
Brandon's
just
jersey.
in general.
He's wearing it,
Yeah, I have a Trubisky jersey. That's all I have.
FGB.
I got it at Goodwill. No, I'm kidding. But I want to say this. I'm very, not to be cheesy, but I'm very proud of Caleb today.
Yeah.
I think what really what really gets me fucking pumped up about Caleb is, yes, he had some overthrows and there were some scenarios where it was definitely fuck you doing, Caleb.
I think he's throwing those away. Some of those overthrows.
Yes, but that throw to DJ Moore where he stood in the pocket, not moving, and then threw that ball and immediately got hit from both sides sandwiched. And DJ Moore caught him back in the end zone was fucking beautiful. And I don't think that's something Fields would ever have been able to do.
No.
Because Fields' first thought was to always leave the pocket anytime there was any minimal pressure. And, you don't see too many really good pocket passers in this day and age. And I think if Caleb Williams does turn out to be a very elite pocket passer, we're in for a good ride, boys.
Yeah.
I really feel that way.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
He's going to stay healthy that way.
He trusted the pocket way more this game. You could tell. That's why he took 2 sacks. He was just staying in the pocket.
Every year Fields is going to get hurt. The way he runs the ball and takes those hits.
He was holding on to the ball kind of long, though. I think the offensive line definitely stepped up and gave him way more time to throw, which I liked that he trusted the pocket, but I didn't like that he was, holding on to the ball a tick too long still.
Yeah, he's going through reads, and that was what everybody talked about with Justin Fields, that he couldn't read the defense and he couldn't go from the first option to the second option to the third option. Caleb Williams, those checkdowns saved him a lot. He would go first option, not open, second option, not open, and he would check that ball down to DeAndre Swift, and that's why Swift had 7 receptions.
It was awesome seeing Swift have half the yardage today. That's how it should be.
DeAndre Swift, if you had him in fantasy points, if you're in a PPR league, he scored close to 30 points for your team.
They got everyone involved. Roshan Johnson had a rushing touchdown too.
Yeah, everyone
That's
stepped
good
up
for
to
his.
that.
I feel like today unlocked the whole offense. Now things are really starting.
But and I hate to be this person because we should just enjoy the win, but it was against the worst defense in football. So hopefully.
I agree.
You had to bring that up.
Hey, sorry, man. Andrew, I agree with you, dude. Yeah. Look, the Bears won, but we did give them the ball back with 2 minutes left, up by 6. We could have lost.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice when the Bears really transition into an elite team. When's the last time we saw the Bears just fucking
2018.
dude.
Back in 06.
Hey, Jay
Real.
Cutler.
What?
Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
For real. No. But when's the
Dude,
last
Brandon
time?
Jay Cutler was a dog.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Brandon Marshall.
When's the last time we saw the Bears? We knew they were going to win at halftime because the score was so.
Yes, I know the game that Kyle Orton destroyed the Packers.
That was dude. I saw that.
That game. We were
That's
up
too long
We
ago.
were up 35-0.
That's too long ago.
35-0 at halftime.
Dude, a little
You know?
tear when you showed me that. A little tear came into my eye. I'm like, man, why can't we beat the Packers like we used to, like that? That with Brian.
I think this year we're gonna have a
pitching-
win against the
Brian
Packers.
Urlacher's pick six.
I think so.
In that game.
I think we're a better team than the Packers.
Dude, our defense was nasty though in 2006, man. That was probably the second best defense in Bears history.
It's always been good.
And then the 2018 defense obviously comes.
And then you
into
got
that.
this year, they're making a name for themselves,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Dude, just look up some of the names for the 2006 Bears defense, man. Fucking Charles Tillman, dude. Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, Alex Brown. I mean, dude, it was nasty, that defense, man.
And Rex Grossman, man, had to
Yeah.
fuck it all up.
Can I also address the elephant in the room? Look how much fun we're having.
Yeah.
When the Bears win, we're just in a good mood. You know what I mean? Like every
It was
fucking
enjoyable
week we
watching
come in
the
here
game today.
miserable. But
Well, I
Bears
mean, of
lost,
course,
but
it's
this is
misery.
fun.
It's the same shit every single.
You know,
Bears,
this
but,
is good.
Hey, Brandon.
This is good for our morale,
Yeah.
not just the team.
Yeah.
Our fucking morale.
The city of Chicago
Yeah.
needs Bears win.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go into work tomorrow. Fucking at it, dude.
Hell yeah. Hey, remember when Andrew went Super Saiyan when Suzuki dropped a fly ball
Yes.
and blew their
I
chances?
can't believe we got that live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that video is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was against the Braves. It was like they ruined the whole playoff chance right there.
Our reaction was wild, dude.
Down goes Andrew.
I was like, oh, that's game. I remember just saying that. Then Suzuki stupidly standing under it dropped it.
How the hell did you drop that
You
ball?
said it was like a 1%, chance, right? That
No, I mean,
it was pretty
he should have
low.
caught it 100% of it. It was just an easy, just
Fly
missed
ball,
his damn
right?
glove.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, literally, that game was the reason.
Well, what are
Cubs
the chances
didn't have
that-
playoffs. We would have been a tie for
Right,
the wild
It's
card.
the same record as last year too. with
What are
playoffs.
the chances though that an outfielder drops a fly ball? What are the odds? It's pretty low, right?
It's very low.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
mean, Kyle Schwarber does it almost on a daily basis.
Does he?
Yeah, that's why. That's why he's a DH.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Yeah.
I mean,
They try to put
and
everything with him. The catcher, I remember.
there's no way you're going to be in the MLB if you can't catch a routine fly ball.
Yeah.
If you
And if you are, you
can't-
have to be one of the best hitters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great life. I would love to be a designated hitter
Yeah,
or first baseman.
For sure.
Remember in the American League, that was the only one that did it.
Yeah, they switched over in 2020, right?
I'm so glad they switched over. Not to get off topic.
Well, it's not
about
really
the
fair.
Bears, but it was imagine paying a pitcher $200 million fucking dollars, right, for him to get drilled in the freaking hand while he's at bat. It's like
I mean, it affects the whole game. Is every
Yeah.
time that relief pitcher has got to step up the plate, you're gonna.
Well, there was
pitch
some
hit,
good-
and
Kerry
maybe you
Wood
want to keep
was
that
a
guy
good-
in the game.
Kerry Wood was a
Kerry
good
Wood was
batter
good.
too.
Yeah,
though.
and so was
Jake
Zambrano.
Ohtani,
Woods,
Ohtani's
Zambrano.
a good, obviously a good batter and pitcher.
I love watching that video of Kerry Wood's. Was it a 3-run shot against the Marlins?
Yeah.
He's my favorite Cubs player, Kerry Wood.
Yeah,
Just because when I grew up with the Cubs,
him and Mark Pryor.
That was a nasty team.
the 2003 Cubs.
And the four Cubs.
I was a big Carlos Zambrano guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think my
They put
favorite
that
player
over
was
his head.
Farnsworth though when he beat the shit out of the guy who charged him out.
Farnsworth.
He
They
was
should
a-
have tested him for
he
roids.
was
dude.
a
I think he had
hothead.
Yeah,
roids.
he was he's 6'4" there. He's a fucking giant.
Zambrano was a hothead though, wasn't
Oh,
he?
hell
Like
yeah.
fucking great.
Might have been
cool,
on the
huh?
steroid show.
You know what?
Oh,
Dude,
you just break
you want-
over his head.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to know what's so funny to me is that Ozzie Guillen, another hothead, and Carlos Zambrano were on the same team together in Miami
No,
in 2010 or something like that, or
Yeah, as he
12,
was
Yeah.
coaching.
when Ozzie
Zambrano
was
was
coaching,
pitching.
and we all know how that worked
Hey,
out.
Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever seen that clip? Where,
I have
where,
no Bumgarner.
so this was like 2-3 years ago, right, Andrew? So a ref or an ump is trying to because he's talking shit to the other ump about he's like, oh, that was a strike, come on, call some fair pitches. And the other ump was like, you know how they feel your hands before you go back into the dugout.
Yeah.
So he was checking for oil, and he was overly feeling his hands and looking right at his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at him, he's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you looking at?
Yes, I do remember
He's like,
that.
I'll kick you your fucking ass, motherfucker. And then the ump's like, get out of here. He's like, fuck you. Dude, it was like hilarious, man. I showed Andrew, and Andrew's like, dude, how did I not hear about this?
Yeah.
It was like 2 days, like.
It was just like
these MLB players get pissed off with these rosin checks, dude. Big time.
So, I thought it was crazy. The video I saw yesterday when the Dodgers bullpen came out and fought fans at Wrigley. I didn't know that even happened until I saw the video.
What?
That's pretty wild.
Who fought?
That was like way back.
It was right back in the early 2000s, but some dude threw a beer at one of the Dodger players, and there was a huge brawl that broke out in the stands. The whole thing happened. They stopped the game.
Yeah.
But let's be honest.
That'd be a fun thing to watch.
I understand. You just got fucking beer thrown on you, dude. Like, I get it.
I'd be pissed too.
Of course, but you're a professional. Like, you gotta not buy into that shit.
That's what I'm saying, man. When Ron Artest went into the stands, knocking fans, that wasn't okay. I don't care what listen.
That sounds like a Brewers fan thing to do. You know?
I like how I went to the Yankees game, the Cubs-Yankees game like 3 weeks ago. Everyone was talking shit to Judge, but he's being a good sport about it. He's like,
Yeah. But those Cubs fans shouldn't be doing that either. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the Yankees.
So, since we're talking about baseball, and I think
classic Cubs fans.
we kind of
surprised.
covered everything for football, but moving on, maybe what are your thoughts on the Cubs year, Andrew, or the season this year?
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to talk about. It's just terrible.
That was a fun game we went to yesterday.
I mean, it's terrible. We're gonna have the same record as we did last year. We didn't improve, even though we have Shota, who may be. He's a Cy Young, type of pitcher right now, and we still didn't do shit with him. Justin Steele's been out the entire year. I get that. I think Jed Hoyer should be fired after a season like this. Given that stupid contract out of Cody Bellinger, when your farm system is loaded with outfield prospects. Now Bellinger's going to opt back into the $30 million a year when we could maybe use that to sign Corbin Burns next season. Imagine Tyone, Shota, Justin Steele, and Burns all in the same rotation. You pour some of that money into now a bullpen. The Cubs are good.
I love that chant we started yesterday at the game. Fire Jed.
Yeah.
Well, Justin Steele was hurt this year too, which kind of hindered, I think, his performance a little.
Yeah,
bit.
it did.
So.
It did. But I mean, terrible year. Another year of no playoffs in Chicago. But I will say at least we're not as bad as
the White
Sox.
Hey, Andrew, what Cubs players? True. If they said you have to trade five of the best Cubs players for Ohtani, would you do it?
5 of the best Cubs players
for Ohtani.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. So he's worth 5 good.
Dude, we don't really have
He's
anyone
worth
that.
more?
Dude,
Everyone's just
The
average.
entire team. Would you do it for them? Like,
I mean, who on this team really made that big of an impact?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Seiya is always hurt. Yes, he's a good hitter, but he's always hurt.
Trying to think.
Yeah, PCA stepped up.
Ian Happ had actually a really good year.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's the only one I could think of.
Happ has been good.
Happ.
I love every player Andrew talks shit about at the game.
Oh, yeah.
And then the very next pitch, fucking home run out of
Yeah.
here. He's talking shit about Happ when we went to the Cincinnati game earlier this year. And everyone around the stands we're just talking shit about that guy.
I had Happ in fantasy this year. He's fucking amazing player.
Yeah.
I remember when Rizzo came back to town, and you have some kind of regrets, or not regrets, but what's the word for it? Just anger towards him for leaving Chicago, abandoning.
Yeah,
the
he
team.
did for sure.
And I'm like, hey, dude, fucking Anthony Rizzo's back in town. You're kind of oh, screw that guy. He left the Cubs.
Yeah.
And then I remember he was handing stuff out to children's hospitals.
Well, he bought 400
Doing,
tickets to that game for kids.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a
obviously,
class
I freaking love Rizzo, everything he's done for the Cubs. I was more so pissed off that he left Chicago because the Cubs offered him more money to stay with us, but he instead...
Did he just not like Chicago? I mean, the fans were nothing but love.
So, the Cubs shot themselves in the foot, really. I can't even be mad at Rizzo, thinking back on it, because we traded him to the Yankees. He probably fell in love with the team, the stadium, and the atmosphere, and then he was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going back to New York. I mean, they're in win mode now. The Cubs were about to go through a rebuild. Yeah. I just think that if Rizzo stuck it out, he would have had a statue one day, which I think is almost more important.
We should have
in
kept
some
him and
aspects.
Schwarber.
Right. So
That was a
Schwarber,
big mistake.
we really messed up on
the
Schwarber.
culture, with I think that they just thought everyone was old and washed, so they just, and obviously
Jed Hoyer's worst decision was easily actually signing Dansby Swanson, but second worst is Kyle Schwarber and getting rid of him for nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't get a compensation pick. They didn't get any prospects in the trade. They just let him walk into free agency.
I could see if it was still, like the National League where you had to play in a position, but it wasn't that anymore.
Yeah,
he was a designated hitter, so I would have understood that because they didn't know really where to put Schwarber before.
And you want to know what's funny about that is that Kyle Schwarber is exactly the bat that the Cubs are missing nowadays.
Yeah.
If you insert Kyle Schwarber into the Cubs lineup right now, we are winning the fucking Central easily.
Yeah.
Easily, we are.
The Cubs are just an example of a team that has money, but
It's a poverty franchise, dude.
no, they're not. They're a wealthy franchise.
Yeah, they don't have to spend
who
money.
signs long-term, large contracts that
bullshit
that
contracts.
suck. Yeah, bad ones.
Do you think
No.
the Brewers are going to go?
They got to sign better contracts.
No.
That's what they need to do.
It'll probably be Cleveland and
No, but you're right. You're right.
They have the money. They spend the money. I'll give them
Yeah.
credit. They spend the money, but it's been on Hayward. It's been on Bellinger. And it hasn't worked out for them.
It's been Dansby Swanson.
It's a fucking
Yeah,
shame.
missed the 2016
Yeah.
Cubs. One of my old Wisconsin buddies asked me, he's like, dude, what's up with Chicago, dude? All your teams suck. You don't have one good team.
We don't.
And this is a Wisconsin
But-
fan telling me. You know how much that angers me?
But listen.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Listen, I will shed some light here. The Hawks are definitely an up-and-coming team, no doubt. I think in about a year or two, the Hawks have the potential to be really good. I think the Cubs, even though the Cubs aren't good this year,
You gotta have Tony.
I think truly next season is the
White Tony.
year that they're going to make the playoffs again.
Yeah,
The fair-
since we're going round robin, Andrew, I think this is a good opportunity for me. So, I definitely want to address the other elephant in the room.
Yeah, please.
The Chicago White Sox are the worst team of all time in 2024.
officially as of yesterday, right?
And I was
We lost the most games in MLB history.
And I take a little bit of pride because I have to admit, I've said this, I said this offline, but I'll say it again. I don't think I'm some guru. I think a lot of people could have assumed this and thought this, but I did say at the beginning of the season, I said, Garrett Crochet's our starting pitcher. Mike Soroka, who's been injured for 3 years, is our number 2 pitcher. I said, this is going to be the worst team of all time. I should have put a lot of money on it. I didn't, and it hurts. And if you try to put money next year, now the spread's going to be all fucked. So it's unfortunate. But they are the worst team, and honestly, I have to say, I'll consider, although I've fallen off, as many White Sox fans can probably admit to that, it's easy to fall off, right? It's a blessing that they're the worst team of all time because you want to know something? Joe, Andrew, AJ, Jimmy?
Jerry is a scum.
Jerry Reinsdorf will always be known now as the owner of the worst team to ever be on the field in any given season. Yeah. And that, to me, brings a lot of joy. I've been saying for many years how badly I've kind of wanted him to, sell the team, retire, what have you. And you know what, dude? You stuck around for this to happen. So honestly, Jerry, fuck you, dude.
Fuck you, Jerry. And you know what? Sell the Bulls as well. Sell the Bulls.
Yeah, sell the Bulls as well, dude. If it wasn't for Jordan, dude, this guy either would have been he would have had to sell the teams by now, or he would for sure be known as the worst owner of all time. But because of Michael Jordan, he'll never be that. So, you're a lucky son of a bitch, Jerry. You know that?
That's what's scary.
Because
the Bulls just got rid of Alex Caruso and Roger Rosen, so they could very well be one of the worst teams in the league this year.
Jesus.
Well, they weren't too far away from last year.
Man.
Pretty
I
bad.
agree, but I have a baseball question related to the White Sox. So whoever wants to answer. So the Chicago White Sox, mid-season, fired their head coach, and then they signed the interim Grady Sizemore as their coach. Now, the White Sox also went on record saying that in the offseason, the White Sox would for sure be looking to look elsewhere for a head coach, someone established, someone with experience, et cetera, et cetera.
They're just going to ruin their career.
But now the White Sox are doubling back later on this season. They're saying, you know what? I think we're going to stick with Grady Sizemore as the long-term head coach. Andrew, shot or no shot? The White Sox are saying that because nobody else wants the fucking job.
Of course, because I mean, look, the White Sox former manager, by taking this job, I think it truly ruined his career. Like, I don't think he'll ever find another coaching job, elsewhere. And Grady Sizemore, that's the type of guy you want. Someone who's like brand new, can bring fresh ideas. If he does good, kudos to him. It brings up his career, but
Yeah.
I kind of got off track. No offense, I kind of forgot the question.
Well, the question was no, that's fair. You made some good points, but again, the question was did the White Sox circle back to saying that Grady Sizemore will be the head coach simply because nobody else in the MLB has any interest?
For sure, yeah, because people aren't that dumb. Like, they know if they're going to Chicago to coach this team, it's going to be pure misery and.
It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun.
I agree.
Do
you think the best MLB coach currently right now could fix the Sox?
No. They just simply don't have the talent, dude.
Baseball is not coaching.
You got Yohan Moncada.
Now, he wanted to talk about football, the coaches being
I was just about
cheerleaders.
Baseball,
the coaches are literally.
They are literally
cheerleaders.
I can be a coach for the Chicago Cubs, and I will do a damn good job. I promise you that.
Hey, how do we pay a guy?
You hear that?
Yeah,
pay $40 million a year.
Yeah, $40 million.
Right here.
$40 million. And it's all bullshit now.
Andrew will do it for $1 million, probably.
I would do it for less than that. But seriously, baseball has moved into a time where they just go based off of probability and numbers. They're like, okay, let's put Patrick Wisdom up. Let's pinch hit him because he does decent against left-handed fucking hitters. When everyone knows Patrick Wisdom is dog shit and should not be ever in the freaking batting box. They don't trust their gut anymore. They go based off of just probability and
statistics.
Yeah. So anyone could read a freaking sheet and be like, all right, I should put him in then.
I have two more things to say about the White Sox, and then I have nothing else left to say. First thing I have to say is...
Jet Hoyer too.
No. The first thing I have to say is I have not attended a Chicago White Sox game in over 2 years now.
Wow.
As a big Sox fan, and obviously the prices for Sox games have always been cheap, and it's always a good vibe. I personally like the food's great. I personally like the stadium. A lot of people don't for some reason. I think it's a nice stadium.
It's a nice stadium.
I like it. The area. Yeah, I get that. You can tailgate there, but I have to say again, I haven't been there in 2.5 years. I haven't spent a dime on the Chicago White Sox. I don't intend to. And again, what am I going to say, Jim? Fuck you, Jerry. The other thing I'm going to say, the last thing I have to say is, if the White Sox are going to get back on track, I'm going to be that guy. Sign fucking Ozzie Guillen as the head coach. Fuck Grady Sizemore. Ozzie Guillen has interest. Let that dude cook as a head coach of the Chicago White Sox. Let him fucking stir the pot. And that's all I have to say.
And then hire Ozzie, and for your bench coach, AJ Przinsky.
You know what?
AJ Przinsky.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
But hell, I would even tune in.
But Ozzie's the rare breed who would want to.
Yeah.
I don't think AJ wants to. I think AJ's a good commentator for what is it, Fox? Good for AJ. You know what? Get Ozzie Guillen in here just to light a fire, because Ozzie Guillen's one guy that he didn't put up with shit. He didn't, dude. He lit a fire under his players' ass, and he let them know if they fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And a lot of these head coaches nowadays coddle their fucking players.
That's what I was just going back to. Ozzie Guillen was a real manager. He wasn't afraid.
Exactly. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to do the dirty work, say what was on his mind, trust his gut and stuff like that. Like Craig Counsell, the Cubs get blown out for 8 games in a row. We're on an 8-game losing streak. Yeah, we just have to have trust in our players and. Hopefully next game we'll do better. It's like, no, dude.
Well, it's so fucking annoying, though. When the Cubs were actually in the run at the beginning of September, they weren't even acting like they were.
Yeah, it's like, show some fire. Show some damn fire. And Craig Counsell's just sitting there.
And I think the saddest part about the White Sox is
fuck you, Craig Counsell. How about that?
Fuck you, Craig.
Craig.
Fucking
$40 million a year for what? For what?
The saddest thing about the White Sox is that most teams that are really bad, there's some direction, right? Andrew, everybody, you're a bad team, but maybe you have a good farm system. Maybe you have one guy who's good. even Colson Montgomery's been playing like ass. I don't know if you knew that.
He has been, yeah.
So it's like with the White Sox, not only are we the worst team ever at this point, but we don't have a strong farm system to lean on. We just overall top to bottom don't have a good personnel. We don't have good owners.
Yeah,
so
you have no direction.
going into next season, there's nothing to be optimistic about. So at this point in time, it's like, as a Sox fan, you just have to disconnect yourself and just wait for whatever's going on to end. And, if it takes 2 to 3 years, we'll see. But I have no interest.
That's what they said 2 to 3 years ago.
And just to add fuel to the fire here, Chris Getz said before the season ended, he said the Sox will not spend money this offseason on players. They're going to hope to improve within the damn team or the farm system when they are the last ranked farm system in all of baseball.
Yeah, they got rid of
on top of being the worst team in MLB history.
Didn't they get rid of that?
How are they going to improve from that?
Andrew, they got rid of Kopech, didn't they? That one up and coming player.
Kopech, yeah.
Dude, that guy looks so good as a closer, man.
Yeah, he's been doing good with the Dodgers.
I know. Why would they get rid of that guy? I said that to you at the beginning of the season. I'm like, dude,
because when you have a really good player like Luis Robert or Michael Kopech, and they're day-to-day have to go into this clubhouse, dude, they're miserable.
Luis Robert, man.
They're miserable.
The Cubs should have went
professional sports is, like I said with the Bears.
So.
It's morale. It's mental. It's just as mental as it is. Like, look at a guy like
Chapman.
Kobe Bryant had skills. But he had that Mamba mentality, Joe.
Yeah.
And that's what changed. That's what put him to the next level.
Yeah, I was just going to say he stole it off Jordan.
I'm just saying that's what brought Kobe to the next level. These players don't have mentalities; they come in miserable. So their play is gonna suffer.
AJ, what's your thoughts on the GOAT debate between LeBron and Jordan?
Actually,
Jordan.
I think it's extremely obvious that Michael Jordan is the superior basketball player.
Okay.
But as far as an athlete, LeBron James is the greatest athlete.
Okay.
Yes.
So
okay.
Who would you?
That's fair.
Who would you rather have?
Never heard
if
someone
you were
say that.
drafting in the NBA.
I would rather have LeBron James. You gotta understand. Michael Jordan was a scumbag. You understand?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
So if you were drafting in the
Jordan
NBA, you'd pick LeBron over Jordan.
Michael Jordan. That's where Kobe Bryant got it from. Whatever you think, however you think Kobe Bryant was, Michael Jordan was that times 10. Michael Jordan didn't care about anything else but winning and being the best player to ever play.
Right.
So, I mean, he was the best basketball player ever. But LeBron James is a great father, great role model, great everything. Yeah. His entire life. That's why he's about to play in the NBA with his son on the same team.
Yeah.
Bronny James.
Mm-hmm. It is insane how LeBron James has never suffered a crazy injury. His entire 20-plus year career, he's always been pretty healthy.
He's the greatest athlete to ever play.
Michael Jordan's never suffered any injuries either.
Yeah, and then one other thing about LeBron, I heard that he spends over $1 million every year on body therapy to make his food, chiropractors, massages,
Well, so did Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So most athletes spend a lot of money on their body.
And fuck you, Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Fuck you, Russell Wilson.
So AJ, LeBron James has obviously broken many records, many NBA records. Do you feel like that is attributed to his longevity? Let's say you stacked up Jordan.
Well, yes, 20 years.
Right. You're statting you're padding your stats because of his longevity, and you can't take that away
He's
from him.
20 years.
But if
6'8", 250 pounds.
Right. But
he's not a basketball player. He's the greatest athlete.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's put Jordan and LeBron both in their primes, and then you take those numbers and put them both 20 years long. Mm-hmm. Who's the better player?
Michael Jordan. What do you mean? I mean, Michael Jordan, literally, you have to understand, it's called tunnel vision.
Right.
Michael Jordan doesn't care about anything but putting that ball in the basket, winning the game.
You'd have to do 10 years, Brandon, not 20, because Michael Jordan only played for 13.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why.
There's only one ball.
If Jordan played for 20, maybe those records are still not broken by LeBron. You never know.
Yeah.
Also, isn't it that I'm not an NBA expert, but I think the league's changed since the 90s. No, the games are higher scoring, and all-time scoring records are bound to be broken.
So imagine what Jordan would do nowadays.
Oh, I mean, he would average 45 points a game. You got to understand, Michael Jordan would score every time. There's only one ball.
Yeah.
And when Michael Jordan was on the court, everybody on the court wanted Michael Jordan to have a ball.
Yeah.
Because his goal was to score every time he got the ball or to win the game. So,
Right.
of course, he'll kick to Steve Kerr. He'll kick to the shooters, when necessary, when he get double, triple team. But regardless, that mentality that Kobe got from him, that Mamba mentality, means that he's going to do whatever necessary to win that game.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people call Kobe an asshole. I mean, because you have to be.
Yeah.
It's basketball.
Yeah,
There's
no,
only
you
one
do.
ball.
You do.
Yeah.
And when you're on that court, that's his court. That's not how LeBron James works. LeBron James is a great man. He's a great person. He will pass the ball, He's one of the greatest passers of all time.
Yeah.
All right, and then AJ, I got one more question, Bulls related. Shot or no shot? In loom of Derrick Rose retiring, would you say that Derrick Rose is the second most, of course, behind Jordan, the second most influential Chicago Bull to ever play?
Yes, I love Derrick Rose.
Number 2.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
Derrick Rose. I'll put
Wow.
Derrick Rose over anybody. I love
Really?
Derrick
Wow.
Rose.
Derrick Rose is fun, man.
Derrick Rose is the youngest MVP
Youngest
in
MVP.
league history.
Yeah.
He was so fun to watch.
Over Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman.
Well, I feel like those two
Joakim Noah.
gentlemen always lived in unfortunately, as much kudos and credit we can give to those gentlemen,
Yeah.
Jordan Shadow.
they still lived in Jordan's shadow, you know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
So,
What about Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets.
he wasn't as polarizing as Rose. I wouldn't even say close.
He became polarizing.
He
in
became,
Miami.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So,
That 2012 Bulls team, man. That was the last time I remember them
times.
being the Bulls.
That
being
was
good.
fun.
Really?
I miss Ben Gordon, man.
Yeah.
Ben Gordon was really good.
yeah, those were fun times, man.
Nate Robinson. He was like
Yeah, man.
my height dunking in the NBA.
Exactly.
5'8".
Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah was
Oh,
great.
man. Kirk Heinrich. I used to love Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah. The glasses.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Captain
All
Kirk.
right.
All right.
Well, moving on. Let's do the beer review.
Yep.
So
Your cousin's beer.
yeah, this is my cousin's beer. He has a brewery in Plainfield. He actually, Grace and I, he brewed a batch of 4. Well, he gave us 4 kegs basically, and he brewed a batch specifically called it Grace and Joe Lager. That was at the wedding, which was really cool. And then he made one of his other beers and gave us some kegs as the wedding gift, which was really nice of him. So the beer that I'm drinking right now, this wasn't at the wedding, but he gave me some other beer to try out. It's called the Psychedelic Stomp. It's a fruited sour blueberry and black currant, brewed with Pilsner malt and flaked oats, hopped with Magnum, fermented with Chico ale yeast. So yeah, I mean, if you like sours, like fruited sours especially, which I think most sours are fruited, it's really good. It tastes like real natural. There's not a lot of sugar in it. It's just all around a good beer. If I had to scale it on a 1 to 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that
what
beer
a
is definitely really good.
Yeah.
I'd probably 8.
Yeah.
An 8 for me. But yeah, I had the Tackle Box Snacks.
This was at my wedding.
That West Coast style pale ale. I thought it was very good. I thoroughly liked it. It's brewed with pale Munich, Vienna, and C40 malts. Hopped with anchovy, Mackenzie.
Anchovies.
Like fucking fish.
Fishy.
All right, sorry. Hopped with anchovy, Mackenzie, and Belma hops.
Nice.
It was good. Trust me, it was good. Freaking an 8 for that. Sorry, I can't talk right now.
The artwork is really
Yeah.
cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
But the artwork is really cool.
Andrew,
Like
that
tissues
was,
on the
that
room.
was a great review, buddy.
Thanks.
So I myself, I think AJ also has the same beer. We're drinking the Old Pile Lager, and it looks like it's brewed and canned by Workforce Brewing Company,
That's the
Plainfield, Illinois. So it's a local. I don't know much else about it. What's the percentage on it?
It's a Pilsner.
Should have done my homework, gentlemen. It doesn't actually say the percentage, I don't believe.
No, I don't
But
think
Tastes like.
It does taste light, but it doesn't taste too light. I'd say a solid 5%, maybe. You know what I mean? I think it's pretty good. If you like lagers, I think you like it. I'm not a huge lager fan. I like more of a weedy beer. So I'll give it a solid 7.25.
I think that's a fair assessment. I really liked it. I love light beer. It's very subtle. It's not too heavy. I would also give it. I'll give it a little bit more. 7.8.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go.
And over here is the Foggy Rhetoric. It's a hazy IPA. I honestly give the thing like 9 out of 10, man. I like hazy IPAs, but I met your cousin at the wedding. Phenomenal guy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact that he said, I was like, yeah, maybe we'll come watch a Bears game over there. He's like, nah, it's not about like the TVs over there. It's like a real bar where you actually talk to people and drink. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Forces you to like interact with everyone.
Yeah, like
so.
It sounds like he's running a good business over there. Great guy.
Yep.
Great beer he makes too. So
Sure.
definitely 9 out of 10 for this hazy IPA over here.
Cool.
Strongly recommend going to your cousin's place.
But hey, we drink it, so you don't have to. But hey, you might want to drink this one because it's pretty good. And the final thing,
and this one with the
Tackle box snacks.
anchovies and Mackenzie.
anchovies.
That's a cool can too.
Yeah,
I like the Northern Lights in this one.
they did some cool artwork on here. So final thing before we end this podcast is the Bears versus Panthers game at noon next week. We'll start with you, Jimmy. What do you think the final score is going to be?
I just hope I don't have to do another shot of Malort, but
Who do you think's going to win, and who do you think what the score is going to be?
Bears are winning 34-21 Bears.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm taking it home.
High
The
scoring
offense is
game,
going to
huh?
turn up the engines. We're already rolling right now. 34-21.
I think that the Bears are going to continue with their check-down scheme and let Caleb Williams throw the ball to DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And I believe that the Bears are going to win 24-17.
I like that. I was kind of going in that direction too, but I'll be a little more dramatic. I have the Bears winning 31-17. I think we're going to see a lot from Caleb next week. I think next week we're going to see Caleb put up over 250 passing yards. We're going to continue to see him in the pocket, and I also think we're going to keep continuing to establish the run game. So I got, again, 31-17.
Alrighty. So since Carolina benched Bryce Young and started Andy Dalton, they have been scoring some damn points. You know.
And they almost won today too.
Andy Dalton.
They have been scoring. So
Yeah, they have Chuba
give
Hubbard.
me Carolina. I'm kidding. But seriously, I got the Bears winning. I think it's like it will be a close game. I think the Carolina Panthers are kind of rolling right now with the Red Rocket. So give me like 30 to like 27, dude. I'm going to high scoring game. Yeah.
I like
the Bears defense?
Yep.
That's bold.
Yep.
I like your prediction, Andrew. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think it's going to be close. I wouldn't take the Panthers for granted here. I think that they do have a chance. I'm going to pick the score. The Bears winning still 21-17, similar to AJ's score, but maybe just a field goal less, the Bears. So we'll see. But that's all we got for you, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, out.